This lesson explores working with central tendencies in data handling, namely finding the mean, median, and mode of a dataset. We will also look at how to calculate the range of a set of data. By doing this, it helps us to better understand the data, and we are one step closer to turning that data into information. Let's start by looking at the mean, which is also known as the average value. We calculate the mean by finding the sum of your values, and then you divide your answer by the number of values in your set of data. Consider these numbers as an example. To find the average, we just need to follow 3 steps. Firstly, find the sum of the values. This means that I am going to add them all together. When I do, I get an answer of 561. Step 2, count how many values you have. In this list, I have 10 values. Finally, find the mean by dividing your previous 2 steps. So I'm going to say 561 divided by 10, which gives me 56,1. Remember that it's okay if you end up with a decimal as an answer, but be prepared to round off if a question asks for it. Pause the video and try the next one on your own. The question says that the following data shows the number of hours James spent playing video games during a week in July. It wanted us to calculate the average number of hours he spent playing video games, and to round our answer off to the nearest whole number. Well, we first begin by finding the sum of our values, which gets us to 37, and the total number of values we have is 7. So to find the mean, we have to say 37 divided by 7, which gives us 5,285,714, and then it begins to recur or repeat itself from the 2 to the 4. The question asks us to round off to the nearest whole number, which means rounding off to the nearest unit. Since my digit to the right of my unit is a 2, I'm going to round down and have an answer of 5 hours. Next, let's learn about finding the median, which is really just finding the middle number in a list. To find the median, your numbers must be arranged in ascending order. Let's practice with the following set of data. So like our note says, we need to place this in ascending order first, which means that our list now looks like this: 16, 28, 30, 43, 47, 71, 72, 75, and 95. Now, there are a couple approaches you can take to finding the number in the middle. The first way is to ask yourself how many numbers there are in the list. In this case, we have 9 numbers. So half of 9 is 4.5, so that means that our middle number should be after the 4th place. Or, a much easier approach is to just cross off the beginning and the end as you make your way to the middle. Just don't lose track along the way. Here you can see that the median is 47. Take a look at the next one, which is a bit trickier. Before we can find the median, we need to arrange these numbers in ascending order first. So this gives us 7, 10, 45, 46, 62, 63, 71, 82, 83, and 84. In this list, there are 10 numbers, which means that halfway is after the 5th number. But look at what happens when I find halfway. There are 5 numbers on the left and 4 numbers on the right. This means that 63 is not in the middle. So let's try our other method to cross off numbers. Here we can see that we ended up with 2 numbers in the middle. So what do we do now? Well, think about a number line for a moment. If we had to line up 62 and 63 so that they were on a normal number line, we can use this to find the number in the middle. In other words, what comes in the middle of 62 and 63? It's a decimal. In this case, it would be 62,5. Okay, but we can't go drawing number lines all over the place, so how would we show this? Very simply, we would just add the numbers together and then divide by 2. This helps us find halfway between the numbers. So we would say 62 plus 63 in brackets divided by 2. This would give me 125 divided by 2, which gives me 62,5 as our answer. When finding the median, You won't always end up with a decimal when you have two numbers in the middle. But if you do not round off the answer. This decimal is the midpoint between those numbers, so it needs to stay a decimal. Pro tip though, if you are given a data set with an odd amount of numbers, like in our first example where we had 9 numbers, you will always end up with only one number in the middle, so no need to do a calculation. However, if you are given a set of data with an even amount of numbers, you'll always end up with 2 numbers in the middle, so you would need to calculate the median. Pause the video and find the median of the following numbers on your own. For both sets of numbers, you should have started by first placing them in ascending order. So question 1 should now read 14, 32, 36, 45, 71, 71, and 89. And question 2 should read 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 6, 7, 7, 8, and 8. Now for the answers. For our first set of data, we have an odd number of numbers, so there's only one number in the middle, which is 45. Question 2, we have an even set of numbers, which leaves us with 2 numbers in the middle, 4 and 6. When I add them together, I get 10. Half of that is 5. Now we can move on to the mode, which is really just the most popular option in your data set. You can find the mode from lists of numbers or words, tally tables, and stem and leaf displays. It is possible to have more than one option for mode. And where mean and median is relating to only number-based data, the mode can be used to find the most popular numeric responses and word-based data. For example, a birthday chart in a classroom shows in which month students were born. We have been asked to find the mode. Well, first of all, it's going to be a lot easier to find the answers to this if we use a tally table. By doing this, I can see that there are 2 people in May, 5 people in July, 2 people in August and April, 4 people in June, 3 people in March, and 2 people in January. The highest number is 5, so that means that the mode is July. In this next example, we're going to look at the following data, which shows the number of times a group of people have traveled overseas. Sometimes it can be helpful just to use color to help you. Here we can see that the mode is 6. Make sure you know the difference between the mode and the mode within a range within something like a stem and leaf display. We can see that the mode here is 72, since it is the only number which has been repeated. But if we were looking for the most popular mode in a range of data, we would say that it's the 60s, since there are more responses for this group. Speaking of range, let's take a look at what that means. When we consider the range of an entire data set, we are looking at the difference between your highest and lowest values. To do this, you would arrange your numbers in ascending order. For example, here is a set of data which has been collected. We start by putting this into ascending order first, which gives us 17, 17, 32, 36, 46, 58, 75, and 89. Now we can calculate the range. Our lowest number is 17 and our highest number is 89, so we subtract them from each other, obviously with the bigger number coming first. 89 minus 17 gives us a range of 72. So let's recap by pausing the video and trying the next 2 examples on your own. For question 1, a class is asked what pets they have at home. Below are their responses. A wants us to find the mode. The highest frequency is 4, which means that the mode is dog. B asks how many children have a pet at home. To solve this, I need to add my frequency together, and that gives me 11 children. Question 2 says that a group of boys are playing with marbles. The numbers below indicate how many marbles each boy has. Question A asks us to find the median of the data set, but before we can do that, we have to arrange the numbers into ascending order. This means that our set should now read 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10. The middle number from this data set is 7. B asks us to calculate the mean, and I can do that by finding the sum of my values, which gives me 66. When I count how many values I have, I get 15. So the mean is 66 divided by 15, which gives me 4.4. Which amount of marbles is the mode? We can see that there are 3 results that have 10 as an answer, so our mode is 10. D asks us to find the range of the data, which is simply taking our highest number of 10 and subtracting it by our lowest number, which is 2. And 10 minus 2 gives us 8. The hardest part of this is remembering which words, mean, median, mode, or range, require which approach. The best way to consolidate this information is to make use of flashcards with the basics on the back. And then, of course, once you have committed this to memory, practice makes perfect.